Hello, and welcome to Life Changes You. This is an Instagram Live, and I'm going to have one of my favourite people on today, wherever you might be in the world, Patrick Hill. Patrick Hill is from the UK, and he's a coach, and I'm going to let him tell you everything he is. But he's really, really interesting to talk to and to listen to. He's been on quite a few podcasts. And if you are listening to the podcast last week, we had Behind the Cult of the Family, which was a really, really good podcast. It was about a cult here in Australia a few years back, 20, 30 years back. And this week we've got Chad Nelson coming up. So, hello, One Blue Princess. Always here to have a listen. And the life coach, Josh. And here comes Mr. Patrick. Did I do that right? Accept. There he is.
Have we connected?
We have. Hello, Patrick in Brazil.
Hi, Daniel. My Wi-Fi is really crap here.
It looks like it.
Okay, I'm going to go inside because this is not working. In fact, if I just go down here...
It is working. It's going really well.
Is it?
Yeah.
You sure?
Oh, there you just froze,
okay,
but that's okay. Maybe that was just you.
Well, I'm going to try this because there's little pockets where it doesn't work.
Hello,
there you go.
LGB Coaching. I can't remember your name. And hello, Natalie Miller-Snell, who Patrick is friends with.
We know
too.
Natalie.
We
know Natalie. Natalie's gorgeous. Hi, Natalie. How are you doing, Daniel?
So how is it in Brazil? Well, you're the guest. How is it? Having a cup of coffee?
Yeah, so it's just gone 8 a.m. here. I'm getting up at 5:30 each morning, which is
lovely.
Which is great because we're trying to stay in the UK time zone just for work reasons. It's hot, it's humid, surrounded by sugar plantations. Very small town, population 10,000. Yeah, so you know, rural Australia.
Yeah.
That dust, that red dust that's everywhere. It's just like that here. And I don't know if you can hear this.
Yep.
Can you hear this speaker behind me?
Yes. Not very well.
No. But basically, this town has the system of communication with the whole town where they have a car with a massive speaker on top, right? that goes around the town a few times a day announcing things. Like,
wow.
come to this supermarket and get this discount on this item or whatever. The other thing they do is they announce deaths through this sound system.
So it just comes out like Mr. Jones has just died.
I shouldn't be laughing, but I just find it so culturally different that I find it's kind of like just walking around the streets saying, this person has died, but they're doing it on a huge sound system, so everyone in the town knows who's died. And I just find it so foreign that the idea of it makes me laugh, but it's not funny.
It looks like it's warm there.
Yeah. I mean, it's not too hot today. It's only about 24 at the moment. But
is that Celsius?
Yeah, but it's the same humidity the whole time. It's really, really sticky. You know, so just sitting here now, I'm a little bit moist.
Oh, lovely.
Because I like that word.
I just have to say hello to a couple of people. So there's morning from the life coach, Josh. Leandra, is that how you say it? From Scotland, who says it's really cold there today. There's lots of people coming in and out. But they're the ones I know. Oh, Healing with Rock Doc is here. He's a guy.
Now, Love Fitness Studios is Nick. Oh, Nick is
and
at
Natalie's
Love
saying
Fitness.
moist.
Now, Natalie likes moist.
Oh my God. I knew it wasn't going to be a very sensible conversation. As I was preparing tonight, I thought we're just going to have a riot. This is with a man that I've written.
This is me being sensible. How dare you? I find that so offensive. Gee,
And
Daniel.
I spoke to someone today here, and they said, "Who's your guest tonight?" And I said, "Patrick." And they went, "Oh, Patrick Hill." And I went, "Yeah." And they go, "Oh, he's really funny, isn't he?" And I go, "Well, yeah."
The thing that I've come to see, and I fully accept now, is and you know me well. You know that I can be incredibly serious, but I don't like to do that too much, because actually there's a lot of enjoyment from being crass and inappropriate and saying things that you shouldn't say. I just really like doing that, actually, because
Well, I really enjoyed being on your couch for Mornings with Patrick. Was it Mornings with
yes,
Patrick? That was really
yeah.
good. We had such a good laugh, and
It was
made me
positive with
it,
Patrick on the coaching
positive.
couch.
Yeah, it taught me to be, I guess, more relaxed when I do these sort of things, rather
Oh,
than sitting here going, "Oh my God, what am I going to ask? What am I going to say?"
you get to say and ask whatever you want. And I tell you what, the podcast I started releasing early January, one of the things that I'm loving about doing it, and I know you know this from doing yours, but the thing I love about it is I'm doing it firstly for me, because I enjoy doing it.
Yep.
I just love talking to people and understanding them and having a laugh and going off on random tangents. I love that.
Oh, I didn't realize you were stopping then. I thought
Oh
you were
no,
going
I
into
was.
a tangent, a random one as well at that.
Well, it was random because I was quiet, and I'm not actually very quiet apart from
That's
when I'm
why I was so
coaching.
surprised. I thought, oh, I've got enough time to have a cup of coffee while he talks now.
Well, if you'd seen me half an hour ago, I was with a client, and when I'm working, like coaching working, I am so quiet. It's almost shocking. I don't think you'd actually believe me. Maybe I should give you like a free session just so you can see that I can actually listen and be incredibly still and quiet, because I can do that.
But would we actually do a session, or would we just have a gossip session?
Well, no, if it's coaching, it's coaching. It's a coaching
Oh,
session. When I'm working, it's work, right? And I
all right.
love it. But it would be all about you. I wouldn't be talking, nonsense.
Well, see, that probably wouldn't sit right with me, because I actually don't like talking about myself. I like talking to other people.
Oh, gee, I didn't realize that about you, Daniel.
Yeah. I look. I mean, when I did your thing, no, I enjoyed that. But usually, I just don't like opening up that much. Although I have got better in the podcast now, I do discuss a lot of things about myself that work in with what the other person's talking about.
Yeah, well, the thing that people keep coming back for is the relationship and the connection. So when people feel like they have a sense of who you are and you do share things about yourself and open up, it's more engaging for them,
Yeah.
because they want that. They keep coming back, not just for the guests, but you're the constant each week, So there you go. There's my 2 cents worth.
Yeah, no, it was good. I think it was actually 10 cents worth. It was worth it.
What was it? 10. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, now, so have you got an agenda? Have you got questions?
Questions? No, I don't do questions.
You haven't got questions. I love that.
No, I've just got a comment here that if anybody's watching and they want to make a comment or ask any questions about us or the topics that we're talking about, which is some topic I'm going to come up with in a minute, then they can post a question and we can answer it for them. So anything around mental health, coaching, those sort of things. The topic today is the comparison between Brazil and the UK. No, it's not really.
Wow, that would be interesting.
Yeah. So you've left
Well,
the
no,
UK.
it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting because I know so little about either.
And you're in a remote village, aren't you? So,
Well, when I say remote, I mean, it's population 10,000, but it's a 4-hour drive to the nearest airport.
wow.
So it's kind of like, Australia sizes.
Yeah.
So imagine landing in Melbourne and then maybe driving to Broken Hill. Would that be about right?
I can't even, I don't, where is Broken Hill?
It's in Australia, you idiot.
Yeah, I know, but whereabouts? Is it like in the centre?
It's not quite in the centre, but it's a fair drive from Melbourne and Sydney.
Well, look, I went on the Garn, which is an old-fashioned train from Alice Springs, no, from Adelaide to Alice Springs, and it took 24 hours, and anything out the window was just red dirt and nothing else.
Right. Yeah.
So that's how I see
I
the
did the
outback.
train ride. I did the oh gosh, what's it called? The Great Western?
Oh, yeah,
No.
yeah. Is it the Indian Pacific?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did that. I did it from, which way did I go? I did it from Sydney to Perth.
Sydney to
And
Perth.
that train ride, I
Oh,
mean,
so right through the middle.
right through. That train ride was one of the most memorable pieces of travel I've ever done, because there's just nothing. And the nothingness of the middle of Australia is just captivating, because where on earth do you go where there's just nothing?
Look, I don't know if I agree with you, because I was on that Garn for 24 hours and I just couldn't stand it, because it was air conditioned, it was humid. I was sleeping in a bunk bed. Look, I've got celiac disease, and they gave me ice cream that had gluten in it, so I spent 5 hours laying on the floor being sick. But yeah, just looking out the window and nothing. And they kept coming up and saying, "Would you like us to put some music in your room for you?" And I'm like, "No, I just would rather sit here and read my book than have your music."
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't ill. So, there's Johnny. Johnny's just joined us now. Johnny, the self-development coach. That's Johnny. Johnny
Yep.
used to be a mud wrestler and wrestle in his pants, and also mud wrestle pigs.
I think, did you interview him on the couch with you?
Yep.
Way back?
Yep.
I think
Yep.
I remember that one.
He's also episode 3 in my podcast. Johnny's beautiful. He wasn't a mud wrestler. He was actually a professional wrestler, but he did wear
Right.
very, very small pants.
Is mud wrestling your fantasy?
No, the small pants is the fantasy.
Oh, okay.
And I said, because Johnny and I haven't actually met in person, but we've talked a lot. And I said to him on the podcast, so, when we actually meet, can we wrestle? And it's like, no,
Yeah.
we can't. I don't understand. I think he might think that I'm flirting with him or something inappropriate, which of course I would never do that.
No, all you really want to do is wrestle.
I want to learn. I want to be taught.
Yeah. You want to be put into one of those grips.
Daniel. Hey, so tell me, what's the most exciting thing that's going on in your life at the moment?
Most exciting thing is really the podcast. Great guests coming up. I just love interviewing people. And the other day I didn't interview someone, but we spoke for an hour about what we could talk about. And this guy is incredibly educated. And when I first when he contacted me, I was like, I don't know if we're going to match, because I think you are way too above my level, and I just don't think we'll find a medium. But once we started talking, it was like, wow, actually, no, there's a lot here that we could talk about and do on a podcast.
Wow.
So, I mean, look, that work, I must say that at the moment, and now you're interviewing me, at the moment, life is the best I think it's ever been. Like, I'm really happy with everything that's happening.
Wow. That's a nice
good place to be. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw something online the other day, people talk about success and blah, blah, blah. And they come out with these pretty, like Instagram posts, pretty things. And this one was on LinkedIn, and they had, success can be the job title and money or something. And then they on the little circle pie chart beneath, they had all these other things that success could be. And I looked at everything there and I thought, yeah, but that's a bit limited. Because then I thought to myself, when I've been most successful and happy, my number one thing is how peacefully I sleep.
Yeah.
And I think, we always talk about sleep being a number one thing for maintaining a really good sense of well-being, health and mental health. And then I was thinking, well, that ties in beautifully to my very elaborate dream that I had last night about Ed Sheeran. I was invited to his house party.
Is this one okay to talk about here?
Yeah, but dreams are the most boring thing for anyone else to hear about. People talk about this. Oh, I had a dream last night, and they go into all these really long, but it's like, I don't care.
But do you find, though, that like when you have the dream and you wake up and it was like it was reality and you're so excited about it, and then when you go to tell someone else about it, you can only remember probably not even a tenth of that dream. And you start talking it back and it sounds really bad.
Well, look,
unless
they
I'm
always
killing someone.
Bad. Listen, dreams always sound bad. But the thing that surprised me about this dream is they knew micro detail about my life right? That no one could know unless they were watching me the whole time. And I was like, I always liked Ed Sheeran. There you go.
Right. So they were watching you at the party.
Yeah. And the house
And
got
what were you
trashed.
doing at the party?
Well, I was just invited in for some random reason, and it was up the road from me in London and Clapham Common, and I went in, but you weren't allowed on the top floor of the house for the party. That was just for him and his mates. So I was kind of like
Yeah.
second, third class on the ground floor, first floor, and the house got trashed. And then, like me being a proper housewife, I started cleaning up the mess. There's the moral of the story.
Look, I tell you, and it's sort of name dropping, but when I was about 22, I went to the States and I was going there to go to a B-52s concert, and we got there, and so the concert finished. You get this backstage pass, you go in this room, there's about 200 people in there, all dancing, free drinks and everything like that. And you're like, wow, this is really cool. And I bumped into Jodie Foster there, and she spilled orange juice on me, so that's a bit of a story. But then the woman who I knew from the record company came over and said, put this pass over the top of the other one. I'll take you to the other room. And then you go upstairs into this other room where there was 10 people, and that was all band people. So there was me and the girl I was staying with in LA, and we were the only two fans in there, but there was Belinda Carlisle, Weird Al Yankovic, and the band, the B-52s. So
Wow.
I sort of got to the top level. So I was just letting you know that you can get there.
Well, I mean,
Ed.
I didn't even get to the top level in my dreams.
No, but you will.
I don't think so. I wouldn't have me. I wouldn't allow me on the top level. No. I wouldn't let me in. Because I'd be just like this, and they'd find it really annoying.
Yeah. No, I think they'd really like it. You might even get him to come on your podcast.
I'm not sure. I don't know. The thing is, I mean, I don't really care, do I? Because, talking to you or anybody, for me, is as valuable as talking to whoever has a title and a name and celebrity. I don't actually give a shit. It's like, can you have a decent conversation? That's my number one thing. Can you have a conversation that makes me interested? Because so many people can't do it.
I know. Yeah, so many people you start talking to, you just think, oh, God, when can I go home?
And, I've got this dear old friend, Ralph, who's on my podcast, and we've talked about it for years, but one of our number one things is, can someone ask an interesting question about you and be genuinely interested in the answer? Because so many people just can't ask a question. That's not bothered. And, it really winds me up. It's like, what's wrong with you? Can't you think of what's wrong with you?
But is it more fear of asking you that question and wondering what your response will be? Because I think a lot of times in life, we're more worried about what is going to come back to us if we do something like that.
Yeah, look, quite possibly. But who cares?
Yeah.
So you're at a party and you meet someone, you're only going to see them at this one party. Just go for it. No one cares. You'll see them once and never again.
I know, but that's easy for us, Patrick, because we've learned all these little things in our head that prepare us for all these things and make us feel more comfortable and blah, blah, blah. But so many people out there would stand there and go, I want to talk to that person. What if they don't talk to me? What if they walk away? And all those thoughts will go off in their head.
Sure. I get it. And I understand that. But at the end of the day, what's the worst that could happen? They go, I don't want to talk to you. Or they smile at you and leave you. And I just go, oh, okay, thanks. It was really nice talking to you. That was probably the best conversation you're ever going to have.
I don't know if you remember in Absolutely Fabulous in the series years and years ago, someone just walked off on Adina and she goes, oh, goodbye then.
Yeah.
And it was just really funny. It was a good response.
It's hilarious. Yeah. It's like theatre sports. You just roll with it. And you don't get offended. It's like, so you don't want to talk to me? I don't want to talk to me. Who cares? Hey, here's a true story. So I haven't been to Brazil with my partner for 9 years. So it's the first time we've come back here together. And when I was here last, his younger brother was 21. And way back then, I mean, we didn't use Google Translate too much back then. I don't remember, but we've been using it a lot. And this younger brother, he speaks no English. I speak virtually no Portuguese. And he has
Yeah.
made such an effort to talk to me and include me. He'll come over with his phone, he'll sit with me with Google Translate, we'll have like proper conversations. But the very first thing he said to me when we arrived, he said, "You're just the same, only older and fatter."
Oh, that's good.
And this
Through
is,
translation.
yeah, no, he said it in Portuguese, and then
Oh,
he did
okay.
the translation, and I was just dying with laughter. It's the funniest thing I've had ever someone say to me after a 9-year gap of no communication. And I just said to him, "This is why I love you," because just that sort of humor, it's totally inappropriate. I totally get it. And I said to him, "And you're exactly the same, just 7 months pregnant." And that's how our communication started. And honestly, this guy, I call him a kid, he's 30, but he's such a great man. And to be, totally remote, I would never ever have come to this town if it wasn't
Yeah.
for my partner, and his family here. But and what I find interesting is, like, here's someone who doesn't speak any English. I don't speak any Portuguese, but we're both willing to take the risk to make the effort. Now, if you can do that with 2 different languages, why the hell can't people do that when they speak the same language?
Definitely. And look, I mean, you're saying that. I mean, how good is it that you've got something that you can use nowadays that will
Oh,
translate a language? I mean, it's
amazing.
amazing. Because
It's
it
amazing.
used to be that your partner was always translating for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And so now, you have Google Translate and it will do the work for you. But what I'm really committed to doing is attempting to say it myself. My pronunciation's appalling. I speak Portuguese like a cow would. And so I just try my best to muddle through. But even the muddling through, and then I listen to the pronunciation on Google and I try it again. But they're so patient with me. They're trying to have a conversation with me, and there's like a time lag of like a minute to 2 minutes before I get it out. And they're sitting there patiently, like, is this guy a bit special needs or what? It's like, well, yeah, I am special needs, but actually I've got to get the spelling right because otherwise the translation's wrong too. But
Are there any
experience.
words that you know of that if you say it slightly wrong, it's got a completely different outcome?
Oh God! Well, I mean, every word that I say has a completely different outcome, but not that springs to mind. I know that the Spanish classic one is the pollo and polla, but that's a different language.
What does that mean?
Or one's chicken and one's cock,
Oh, okay.
as in not the
So
rooster.
similar, because one's a rooster.
Right. Well, see, there you go. Right, you got to be careful. But I love, and there was a 30th birthday party here last Saturday. It was my brother-in-law's 30th, and the guy who talks to me, and there's this tradition in Brazil when it's a birthday, when the birthday cake is cut, the first piece of cake is given to the person
That they love the most.
Right. He gave it to me. Right. And
Oh.
there's 20 or 30 people there, and I'm like, and he says, "It's for you." And so I say in Portuguese, "Oh, mi amor, el te amo," and everyone there's like, he doesn't speak Portuguese, and I'm saying, "Oh, my love, I love you," and then they all start laughing, and once the laughing dies down, I go, "Hallelujah, Google," and then they laugh again, and I was just like, I love that I can make people laugh in another language that I just don't speak.
With you, they were laughing at you.
Well, hopefully laughing at me, because that's usually how most of my things come about, right? Because I mean, I don't care whether you're laughing. Don't laugh with me. It's better if you laugh at me, because I too am laughing at me, because I don't mind making a fool of myself.
I love talking to you, Patrick, because my cheeks always ache after I've spoken to you, because it's just so funny. And it's funny that it's funny you bring up that thing about the cake, because it was only a couple of days ago I actually saw it on Facebook or somewhere that there was a little boy, and he turned to his little brother who was 2 and gave him the cake, and the little brother burst into tears and hugged him because he didn't realise his brother loved him so much.
Oh, that's bloody beautiful. Now, this guy, Junior, I know he loves me, and we connect because we have the same sort of humour. Stupid, inappropriate, a bit crass. I'm much ruder than he is. He would never say the stuff that I say. But it's just that thing of just generously giving, expecting nothing in return.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful, and you're lucky. You're lucky your cheeks are hurting because that means you've got me on a good day.
Ah, yeah, no, it's always good. And I mean, when we do a podcast, usually the people will hear the podcast as professionally as it is, with a few laughs here and there. But it's usually before we start and after we finish is where we have a big giggle. And
Right.
that's why I think it's important for us to talk on things like this, because then people see that we're not just always just talking about mental health and this is bad and these statistics are bad.
Yeah.
That they can join in. And like, I mean, the comments as we're talking are all lots of emoji laughter. So obviously people are enjoying what we're talking about, even though nothing's prepared. It's like
We don't
slapstick
need to.
theatre
We don't
sports,
need
isn't
to.
it?
It is. Well, there's that thing, and that's when we connected last year sometime. When we had our first chat, I was like, "Oh no, this guy, we get each other because we'll just go with." Here's a really really gross anecdote. Can I do it?
Yeah. Is there a trigger
So,
warning with it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So
So be prepared, everybody.
If you're easily triggered, I don't care. So one of the things that happens when you travel, as you know, is you encounter different food and different water, and so there can be adverse reactions to that.
Yeah.
And so I had one of those moments when we got to Rio, and the first day was okay actually, but the second day, oh, my stomach was hurting, and
Ooh.
yeah, so I took care of things.
Yeah.
Oh, who's this? Who's this?
This is Roxy. She's just come in to say hello.
Hi, Rox.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, so took care of things at the hotel, and then we thought, oh, we'll go off to the beach. So we went down to Ipanema, so short walk away.
You went to Ipanema.
Yeah. So we went to Rio first and had a few days there, and then came inland. Okay. So yeah, so we're at the beach, and I said to my partner Danilo, I said, oh no, I've got to go. He said, what do you mean? I said, I need a toilet now. He goes, but there aren't any at Ipanema. It's Copacabana, a good 10, 20-minute walk away. That's got the toilets underground, but Ipanema doesn't have any. And I said, I've got to go. He goes,
so there's a beach with no toilet?
Ipanema does not have any toilets up the whole stretch of it, right?
Wow.
So he says, go in the sea. I said, I can't do that. He said, well, what are you going to do? I said, I think you're right. I think I have to go. So I waited till there was no one in the beach in front of us, and I go into the sea. Hi, Dan. I go, oh, they say hi, Dan, to you from Rock Bottom.
That's from rock Bottom up.
But he's not Dan, is he? Because I said hi, Dan.
No. Yeah, she's just saying hi, Dan.
Hi. So anyway, I wait till there's no one in the water in front of us. And fortunately, that day was quite rough.
You went in the sea?
I had to. I had no option. And it was mortifying. Right? And of course, so I go into the sea.
Near you, was there?
No one was there. But
okay.
This is the true story. I went into the sea, and I lowered my swim shorts past the breaking waves, right? So I was deep. It was deep. And I'm there trying to keep myself afloat, not go under, right? And
imagine if you went under in it.
I'm trying to relax, and you can't relax when there's waves coming, and you're scared, and you've got to go because you've got a dodgy stomach. Anyway, somehow I managed to relax, and the truth of the matter was, it was not what I thought it was going to be. It was just a very, very long piece of flatulence. But I tell you, the pressure and the relief and the release. And when I came back up the beach, I was smiling and laughing at myself with such pride that I would take this risk. Fortunately, no sea creatures were killed.
Look, I mean, I've always had the vision in my head that if I ever went to Ipanema, girl from Ipanema, blah, 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 it would be just such a beautiful beach. And now if I ever go there, all I'm going to think about is you having a crap in the water. And it's floating up around everybody.
But the worst thing was, if I had, it wouldn't have floated up. It would have dispersed like squidding in water. But hey, the good. Is this what you were hoping for? You were hoping for this conversation?
I was hoping for whatever came out, because whenever we chat, I always love it. And it's either funny or it's serious, but whatever it is, it's always really good.
Oh, I'm really sorry. But yeah, I mean, so the moral of the story is, Try and find a toilet or a beach that has a toilet nearby.
And for those people who are listening and watching, don't go to Ipanema to have a swim if they've heard that you're around.
I didn't do the business in the sea. It was very close, though.
Right.
There you go. So where do you want to take this conversation next, then?
I don't know. I mean, I can't top that story. I don't think I've ever done anything as weird as that. And maybe I need to keep my reputation intact.
Well, I don't have a reputation. Right?
We should maybe try and save it.
Well, I think one of the things I really like about where I've got to in life is I'm really, really comfortable with all of this guy. And yes, when I'm working, I have my working coach brain on, but don't be thinking it's going to be a serious conversation the entire way. Because one of the things I deliberately use is humor, because quite often I'm working with people who are really vulnerable, in a lot of pain, and having having a really tough time. We know that laughter relaxes the brain. We know that it helps us. We know that it helps us think better, and it helps shift emotions and moves chemicals around. So I deliberately, I've always been like this, but I absolutely bring that into my work, because I mean, you know how some people are just so serious and earnest. Yeah, can't bear it.
No. And look, you saying that, I mean, I had a guy who had an intellectual disability and mild autism, and he was coming for counselling probably a year ago, and we would break it up in 5-minute sessions. So we'd have 5 minutes of chatting, 5 minutes of games, like tic-tac-toe. Yep. Those sort of things. And we'd tell a few jokes and stuff just to ease him up. And and I mean, look, I think sometimes in counselling, psychology, life coaching, it can be all too serious. And like you say, sometimes breaking that up with some comedy actually helps them feel a lot more comfortable, and us feel more comfortable with the person, and the dynamic changes a lot, doesn't it? It becomes more compassionate, more empathetic.
Well, it's real. The thing we know from all the research around any sort of helping profession is it's the relationship. It's the relationship that is the work. There's the conversation, but actually it's the relationship and the space that you work to create together. That's the thing that moves most things through. And if you're not able to relax fully into it, you're not going to be able to be fully real and authentic and relaxed, so that your thinking is at its optimum. I think that's probably one of the things I love the most about it. It's like you just take all of you, and because that also gives others permission to be fully them. We don't have to aim for this fabricated fantasy perfection thing I think it cripples people.
It does. And I think also one of the things I learned when I did my diploma in counselling was I learned all these huge words that were really great for counselling and psychology, but it was really, you couldn't relate those to someone because they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't even know what that word means.
Right.
So, to come down on a more serious, a more normal level. And I have had conversations with psychologists who've said to me, oh yeah, but you have to explain it in these terms. And I'm like, if people don't get it, what am I doing? I need to be able to make it, because, them being high up and thinking that they're larger and better than us.
But that's one of the greatest barriers in any helping profession, is thinking that you are not at the same level. When I do my little boring bit, I call it, at the start of any working relationship, or even on a one-off, connection chemistry call, one of the things I say straight away is, we come to this work together as equals. We start as equals and we stay as equals the whole way through. And if you don't feel that's actually happening in the moment, we need to have a conversation about that, because that means I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, definitely. And look, with the guys I work with who have intellectual disability and mental health issues, one of them, when they came, they said, oh, you're teacher. And I go, no. We're both teachers. We're both students. We're both going to learn stuff from each other. I'll learn a lot from you. You'll learn a lot from me. But there's no hierarchy, because otherwise we're not all the same. We need to all be the same and just work together. Yeah.
Anything where there's a pedestal involved is
unless it's in a nightclub.
Oh, Clothing optional?
Well, I've always had clothing on.
Me too. So, but there's this thing about you gotta have that equality. You have to have it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about equality, and you're laughing at me. That's not appropriate.
It is, because I'm being equal with you. I'm finding humor in everything you're saying. I'm still thinking about Ipanema. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that was a
if
special
my dad
moment.
was still alive, I would tell him that story, because he'd always said how he'd love to go to Brazil and go to Copacabana and Ipanema, because he always loved that song, Girl from Ipanema. And I always loved it because he loved it. And now all I can think of is, if I hit that song, I'm going to think about you having a crap in the ocean.
Well, why is it that we've normalised dogs pooing on the pavement and leaving it there? How come that's a normal thing?
Yeah, I know.
Anyway.
Yeah. It's good. Like, it's all good. So what's the best thing that's happened since you've been there?
Oh,
Other than what you've just explained, something different.
the thing
Have you had a haircut there?
Not yet. No. This was before. The best thing. That's a good question. What's the best thing that's happened here? I tell you what. The effort and generosity of Danilo's mum and dad. You know, that they were going to go away on holiday just before we arrived, but they decided not to, so that they could get the house ready.
Yeah.
Right? And they've done all this painting. I don't know. You see that yellow, right?
Yes, I saw that on Instagram the other day,
Right.
that they painted the yellow,
Right.
and it looks
So-
amazing. But that's how I would
It's-
imagine, like, one of those countries in Brazil, with the beautiful bright yellow colours, nice and bold.
Well, listen, the one word that I keep coming back to when I think about Brazil as a whole is rustic.
Yep.
Okay? Because this is freshly painted, it's really clean. This is not the average experience of most people in this town. Okay?
Right.
The roads are potholed and pitted. It's just, it's so other from what I've experienced. But
Is
what
it
I love
called
about
favelos?
See, that's a word that I don't know.
Favelo? I don't know.
Oh, no.
Rio
talking-
de Janeiro, where they're all the little houses on top
Right.
of each other?
Yeah, those are the favelas. Those are
Favelas.
the favelas. Yeah, right. But that's
Not where you are.
That's a small demographic.
Right.
Although, obviously thousands and thousands of people live in them. But there's this thing about Brazil that just feels rustic the whole time. The food does, the environment, just everything about it. And there's this totally, and probably the best thing that's happened to me is just being so exposed to everything different. It's just all different. The food, the smell, the temperature, the humidity is just insane at the moment. I love that. And obviously the language as well. From rock bottom up.
You've just had a question there, Patrick.
Time in Brazil. Yeah, so at the moment it's 20 to 9 in the morning. Yeah, 8:38 in the morning, and it's, what day is it? Today's Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's about 11:30 in the UK, isn't it? And 10:38 here.
That's
in
correct.
Melbourne, Australia.
So, and I think that's the thing that I love about. I mean, like I said earlier, I would literally never ever have come to this tiny town towards the middle of Brazil if I hadn't met my partner 15 years ago. It's fascinating. And I think that's the thing I love about travel, which I haven't done masses of in the last year or two. Like everyone, is you're exposed to stuff that you just don't get to see. There's a local gym that we joined for like £10, so maybe $20 for a month, right? Because we're here for another 4 or 5 weeks. No air conditioning, it's 30 degrees in the gym. I couldn't ask for the Wi-Fi code in Portuguese, so I just got out my phone.
Oh, they do have Wi-Fi though.
Well, they obviously do, because we're
No.
I
mean,
here,
in the gym.
They do. But I couldn't ask for it in Portuguese easily because I didn't have any Wi-Fi. But I went up to this random person and I just got to the settings of Wi-Fi. I was like, "Cares Wi-Fi?" And then she found it for me. She found a guy and he gave it to me. So, but they're really, I don't know. It's a really beautiful experience. And also the other beautiful thing is, we had a week off last week and we're back to work this week. So this is the normal working week for us. And because we work online, we can work anywhere and do whatever we do wherever we are. And when, my partner said, what do you think about this? I was like, Sure, why not? I mean, what would you rather have? 8 degrees in London, or 28 degrees in sunshine? And yeah, here we are.
Look, I must admit, like, I mean, we've had the conversation before, but I can't even remember when COVID started now. But when it did start, I'd never heard of Zoom. And then to be able to find people like you that I can sit and talk to, even for the podcast where it's only audio, but you and I can sit face to face, chat, we can read each other's body language. It's amazing, because I think on a phone call, you would miss a lot of the interaction.
Right. Absolutely.
And now, like Instagram Live, we're talking live. You're in Brazil, I'm in Australia. People in England and around the world are watching this, and it's like, this is crazy, that we can be talking live.
Cool.
I watched a thing on Facebook the other day, and it was 1990, and they were saying about the invention of the video phone, and it was moving like this. And I thought, oh my God, that's only 30 years ago.
Right. And I remember when I moved to the UK in 2003, webcams were just starting to come out. And I remember saying to my dad, who's in New Zealand, I said, Dad, I want you to get a webcam. He's like, nah, son, it'll never take off. So here we are.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. Well, I was wondering where that story was going with a webcam, because it's you, but, it was obviously a nice, clean story.
I've got another
about
story.
You and your dad.
Yeah, hey, my dad didn't want to webcam me. Okay. Hey, I've got to get going. I've got a call soon.
That's okay. It was great to talk to you.
Hey, let's do this again, maybe in a few weeks if you want. I think we did put another date in the diary, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I can't remember exactly. I think it's in 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's just before you leave, I think.
Okay, fine. I don't know where I'll be. I might be here. But I'm looking forward to that, Daniel. Hey, look, have a really good rest of your day.
I'm going to bed.
Oh, yeah, you go to bed. That's right.
Yeah. Thank you for your amazing story about Ipanema. I'm sure those that have been watching will be, that will haunt them forever if they go to Brazil.
Well, I mean, just be careful. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. If there's an ocean, there is a possibility.
There's some motion.
Ocean and motion.
Yeah.
Or the other way around.
It's been lovely to speak to you. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you for joining me.
Cheers. Take care, Daniel. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.